A very good evening and welcome. This is Weekend Primetime News here on MTV Sports. I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara. Let's start off with a look at your headlines tonight. Cricketers who do not sign the central contracts to lose their spot in the team. Clashes break out during a big match encounter between two schools. 16 Indian fishermen arrested by the Navy for breaching maritime borders. Election Secretariat says that nude parties cannot be registered until the Muhudupadu Pattu and Pudukuripu elections are over. On to those stories in detail now. The police media spokesperson's office says that 11 persons were injured during a clash that broke out at the SSC grounds in Colombo today during a cricket match. The clash broke out when the annual big match encounter between two schools in Colombo drew to a conclusion. The clashes escalated when the spectators entered the pitch. The police had to intervene to control the situation. Police media spokesperson Superintendent of Police Buddhika Sirivadana said that the police had to use tear gas to control the situation. In news just in, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee Sanat Jayasuriya says that all players have agreed to sign the Sri Lanka cricket contracts. This was following a meeting of a group of senior players and cricket officials at the Sri Lanka cricket headquarters in Colombo. Sanat Jayasuriya also said that Angelo Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal had conveyed this message on behalf of the national players. That news item once again. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee Sanat Jayasuriya says that all players have agreed to sign Sri Lanka cricket contracts. Now this was following a meeting of a group of senior players and cricket officials at the Sri Lanka cricket headquarters in Colombo. Sanat Jayasuriya also said that Angelo Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal had conveyed this message on behalf of the national players. Welcome back to the news. The new reception hall constructed by the Sri Lanka Air Force near the Negombo Lagoon was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa yesterday. The Sri Lanka Air Force built the reception hall concurrent to its 62nd anniversary celebrations. The heads of the three armed forces and the Secretary of Defence were among those who were present for the event. This reception hall will be used for weddings of army personnel, civilians and for other functions. A program to enroll new members to the United National Party took place in Vilgamore today.
The program to distribute handbills amongst the public in the Laggala electorate was attended by a group including Ranil Wickramasinghe. We should wipe out everyone who provides substandard fertilizer, who do not provide a proper price for paddy, who distribute the free education and who destroy the health service. What we should do is protest and get an election that will see the change in government in 2014. They should be chased. If they are to be chased away, we should hold protests this year demanding an election next year. We do not need provincial councils, we need to change the government. We can chase away the government. We can demonstrate. All of our parliamentarians, organisers, provincial councillors and Pradesh Sabha members will give leadership to the village level and protest with the villagers.
Now addressing a media briefing convened by the joint opposition, the leader of the Nava Sihala Urume, Sarath Manamendra, expressed these views about future elections.
අපි ත්‍රිවිල්නේ අරම්බරෙන් ඔබලගේ බේස් BMW පක්ෂ ටික
There is an election coming up. We as the joint opposition are going to contest for the Western Provincial Council. I am going to contest for the post of Chief Minister. If you lose, you will have to get ready for a presidential election the next day. We will win the next presidential election with Ranil Wickremesinghe and prove those who say no to Ranil wrong. It is because of this they are attacking us. The opposition leader is waiting for this to fall onto his lap. If I become the opposition leader, I will chase the government in 90 days or I will go home. If I was the leader of the UNP, I know how to topple this. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, says that he needs members who are committed to the party on a full-time basis. However, parliamentarian Palitha Rangibandara says that if the UNP had a leader who was committed on a full-time basis, the United National Party would not have had to be in the opposition for 19 years.
Full-time?
I need full-timers. I do not need half-timers or part-timers or those who work on contracts.
Them part-time?
Now he says that the UNP does not need part-timers or half-time organizers. He says that it is with full-time organizers that power can be obtained and not with half-timers or part-timers. I saw that this was mentioned in Kandy yesterday. I would like to mention that it was because of that half-time, part-time and short-time leadership that we went wrong for 19 years. If we had a full-time leader rather than a half-time, part-time and short-time leader, we won't have to be in the opposition for 19 years. We would have had to wait there for a maximum of 7 years. Then we will be the government. It was that half-time, part-time and short-time leadership that ruined it.
Time leadership backing.
Now Ranil Wickremesinghe had commenced an innocent guerrilla campaign. We saw this innocent group of guerrillas coming together to give appointments. Why did they gather a number of youth from the UNP and give them appointments? For that innocent guerrilla campaign. What is that? That is to tarnish the image of the president and the leaders of the alliance government. What does that mean? That means to sling mud and ruin their images. T. Sattanayake says that the ideal person for this is Mangala Samaraweera. Why? Because during our government, it was Mangala Samaraweera who carried out a mud-slinging campaign against Premadasa. He has the talent to do that. Is this something that a general secretary of a party should say?
බොරු මඩපචාර අරින් පටන් ගත්තේ මංගල සමරවීර ඒ දක්ෂකම එතුමාට තියෙනවා එතුමා ඒ වැඩේ දැන් කරයි තුක් නොදකින් පක්ෂයේ මහලේකම් කෙනෙක් කියන කතාවක්.
News First met a group of people from the remote corners of Balangota recently. The child was born on the middle of the road. Then the hospital refused to accept the child. Everyone uses fingerprints as a signature. An estate village belonging to the Ratnapura district, located on the border of the Nuwara district. The News First team travelled 18 kilometers from the Balangota town and arrived at the Samanalwava checkpoint. From there on, we boarded a police jeep and travelled a further 12 kilometers till the terrain didn't allow us to advance any further on the jeep. We had to travel a further 14 kilometers to reach the remote village located on top of a mountain. These students who were returning home after school told us that they travelled on foot for nearly 2 hours to get to the E. Vivekananda Vidyalaya. Although this village may be extremely remote, the trek to this village was one which was picturesque. And our correspondent, Rohan Samaravita, was able to capture its exquisite beauty. The road consists of 31 bends, and travelling on this road reminded us of the famous 18 Bends road. After travelling for nearly 2 hours, we finally reached our destination of Nagruk, which is located 26 kilometers away from the Badulla main road.
This is a village located 6,000 feet above sea level, which has not caught the attention of any official.
Amidst numerous difficulties, nearly 25 families reside in this village, which falls under the purview of the Imbulpe Divisional Secretariat and the Kumrutanna Grama Seva Division. When expecting mothers are rushed to hospital to deliver, the babies are born in the middle of the road. Then the hospital refuses to accept them. It takes nearly 4 hours for a van to take someone from this village. This is just one of the many issues faced by the residents of Nagruk. They say that they will fix the roads and build schools until they get the votes. Afterwards, they do not even come to this area. We need to travel 10 miles on foot in each direction. There are no doctors, no education. According to area residents, they are reluctant to send their children to school as the road is extremely dilapidated. If these children leave for school at around 6 a.m., they reach there at around 10 a.m. Once school is over, they arrive back at home at around 8 p.m. That is why we are saying we need a school in this area. No one can sign their names. They use their fingerprints instead. Didn't a teacher come here earlier? He complained that the salaries were too low and left. One bus operates along this road, which is 26 kilometers in length. However, this bus also travels only a distance of 8 kilometers. This village, located 6,990 feet above sea level, is perched high above many other towns and villages. However, when considering the facilities that they have, it is clear that they are far below the rest. Let's now take a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee, Sanat Jayasuriya, says that all players have agreed to sign the Sri Lanka cricket contracts. Now, this was following a meeting between a group of senior players and cricket officials at Sri Lanka Cricket headquarters in Colombo. Sanat Jayasuriya also said that Angelo Matthews and Dinesh Chandimal had conveyed this message on behalf of the national players. Now, earlier, Sri Lanka Cricket said that it will not allow any Sri Lankan cricketer to represent the national team unless they sign contracts with Sri Lanka Cricket.
The deadline granted for cricketers to sign their central contracts with Sri Lanka Cricket for the next year ended yesterday. According to Minister of Sports Mahindananda Alutgamage and Secretary of SLC Nishantha Ranatunga, the main request by the cricketers who are not signing the contracts is for the 78% of the match fee be granted to the cricketers. The Minister of Sports says that at present 68% of the match fee is given to the cricketers. The Minister of Sports pointed out that other cricketing nations are only paying 25% of the match fee to its cricketers. The minister also blamed the interim committee under the chairmanship of D.S. De Silva for setting this bad example of increasing the percentage given to cricketers. However, the incumbent secretary of SLC, Nishantha Ranatunga, served as a secretary to the interim committee under the chairmanship of D.S. De Silva.
අද ක්‍රිකට් කියලා කියන්නේ 1996 වගේ නෙමෙයි. ඒ වගේම 1996ට
Today cricket is not like what it was in 1996 or before 1996. Today cricket is commercialized. This gives the players the rights to demand for their benefits, incentives and payments. The players also have the right to make inquiries, appear and fight for any payment or benefit they did not receive. You cannot expect players to adhere to the regulations of Sri Lanka cricket.
තමන්ට ලැබිතුණු ගාස්තුවක්, තමන්ට ලැබුණු වැටුපක් ඒවා අඩු කරනවා නම්
Cricket officials met with the Sri Lanka Cricketers Association this evening to resolve the deepening crisis. However, Chief Executive Officer of Sri Lanka Cricket, Ajit Jayasekara, says that the Sri Lanka Cricketers Association has no power to interfere in such matters. He added that SLC does not recognize the Sri Lanka Cricketers Association. However, responding to this statement, Vice President of the Sri Lanka Cricketers Association, Ken Dialvis, said that the association had represented the players for the past 8 years. Ken Dialvis pointed out that during the past 8 years, current select committee member Pramod Devikramasinghe and SLC secretary Nishantha Ranatunga held high positions in the association. He said that he was surprised to hear that the association was not recognized this year. The Bangladesh cricket team has already arrived in the country for the series against Sri Lanka. On the 14th of February, Sri Lanka Cricket announced the team that will play in the first test match against Bangladesh on the 8th of March. However, not a single player mentioned in the team had signed the contract with SLC as of this evening. The Minister of Sports had informed Sri Lanka Cricket and the national selectors to name a new team with fresh faces for the series against Bangladesh if the cricketers do not sign the contracts. However, Chairman of the National Selection Committee, Sanat Jayasuriya, said that the issue should be resolved through discussions.